Welcome into NFL Daily presented by Manscaped. You can save 20% off and get free shipping on all of Manscaped's fantastic products at manscaped.com/chat. Today's video is taking a look at Mel Kiper, the ESPN NFL draft analyst, and his way too early 2022 quarterback prospect rankings. He's got 10, and I threw in some other names to keep an eye out for. At number 1 for Kiper is Oklahoma's Spencer Rattler. Now, this year's quarterback class in general is pretty murky. There is not a Trevor Lawrence or even a Justin Fields, really, as we sit right now, but there probably will end up being someone who goes super early, and that could very well end up being Rattler. He does not have the best size, and this listed one, by the way, is just for Oklahoma. He'll probably bulk up some for the NFL draft. But he does have the arm talent, and even though it was a bit up and down in his first year as the full-time starter at Oklahoma, his 2020 production was still pretty solid. 67.5% through the air, over 3,000 yards, some ups and some downs still, but the talent is certainly there, and if he has a great year, Oklahoma balls out, he will join the latest in a very long line, recently at least, of Lincoln Riley quarterbacks who have success. Number 2, Sam Howell, the quarterback from North Carolina. Now, he was number 12, by the way, on Kiper's full top 25 big board. There is a real chance for Howell to, I'm going to throw out this comparison, have a Baker Mayfield type of jump this season. Namely, when Baker vaulted to the number 1 overall pick by the Cleveland Browns, part of the reason why I was so impressed is he did his level of production without some of his key players. This year for Howell at UNC, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, De'Ami Brown, and Daz Newsome, all draft picks are gone. Now, Howell's arm is not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but he is accurate, and that checks out from what we saw at Oklahoma, or at UNC, last year, 68%. A pretty solid touchdown to interception ratio. How he fares this year without so many of the key pieces around him from a playmaking perspective last year will have a major impact as to where he actually goes, knowing, of course, there's an entire year of development. There's a lot of stuff that's going to change. Look, the 2022 quarterback draft class is weird. There's a lot of depth, not a great, obvious Trevor Lawrence type of player. So what do you guys think? Who is the top quarterback prospect for this upcoming NFL draft? If you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and let me know. Number 3, a name that I like seeing on here, Malik Willis, as Bo Nix catches a stray here. Auburn messed up by not making Willis the starter and making Bo Nix the guy instead. He was 15, by the way, on Kiper's early big board. He is dynamic, he's a dual threat, dangerous runner, great arm as well. Now, he did do it all at Liberty, so you do want to see some better play against the bigger competition, which he will get this year, by the way. Ole Miss and Syracuse. That's who the Flames get to face off against. So, last year, passing-wise, 64.2%, a little over 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He does offer a lot of traits that you like. Now, make no mistake about it. Willis does need to show some growth as a passer, but he is a dual threat. I mean, his production at Liberty on the ground last year was incredible. 141 carries, nearly 1,000 yards, again, on a not quite full season there, 14 scores. He does still need to show some growth as a pure passer, but the traits are absolutely there. So because of that, I like Kiper putting Willis up so high, and we've seen plenty of recent examples. Trey Lance, Josh Allen, smaller school guys that go early in the NFL draft. Now, if you guys want more NFL draft videos, do me a favor. Share this one. I think we can get to at least 25, 30 shares here if you guys love the NFL draft, whether you share it on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, wherever. If we get more shares, more views will come along, and we can do more NFL draft videos. Something I love to do, but all depends on the views in the end. To number 4, Carson Strong out of Nevada. I am very pleased that Kiper put him on here. I thought I was going rogue in my own way too early 2022 NFL draft, mock draft, by putting Strong in round 1. The production at Nevada has been impressive. Look at this stat line. 70.1% in terms of completion percentage, just under 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, I do want to see a little bit more in terms of the yards, but the completion percentage, touchdown, interception ratio, yes, that's box score scouting, but it is impressive. So Strong might be an under-the-radar name. Keep an eye out for him, potentially even in round 1. All right, more smaller school prospects here. Desmond Ridder, who was draft eligible this past year. And had he been drafted, he might have been quarterback 6 off the board. Now, maybe Trask still ends up going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but there's lots to like here. He's got the size, he's got the athletic ability, he's a decent enough passer. Now, there was some round 1 buzz for McShay. I'm not quite there yet. But if Ridder takes a step forward as a passer, I just want to see more out of him, more yards, more touchdowns, more big plays through the air. He, at minimum, I believe, has very strong backup quarterback ability. Now, last year's number 5 from Kiper is still a college player. We'll get to him later on. Hopefully, Ridder plays better than that guy did this past season. As mentioned, you guys can get 20% off and free shipping on all Manscaped products at manscaped.com/chat. Use that promo code chat if needed as well, folks. It includes the new Lawnmower 4.0, the #1 men's grooming tool out there. I Manscaped. Without Manscaped, would I have a pregnant wife? Maybe not. That's up for debate. Either way, you should definitely Manscaped. Make sure your junk looks nice and good down there. Check the comments section and the description. We'll put that link in there, manscaped.com/chat. To number 6, Kedon Slovis out of USC. I know he's got a lot of buzz. I get it. Trojan quarterback. The track record's pretty solid there. He did beat out JT Daniels, who, stick around for him in a second here. But I am stuck in that Pac-12 championship game where there's no way around it. Slovis did not play well. I mean, it was bad. He needs better decision-making and consistency. Now, fourth quarter Slovis in USC was damn impressive this past year, but there were too many mistakes. 7 interceptions and a rather limited game sample size at USC is an issue. If he improves the decision-making, if he makes better plays and avoids the just boneheaded where you throwing that ball play, I think he could end up being a first-round pick. But I still need to see more growth out of Slovis in 2021. JT Daniels, make no mistake about it, is still pretty heavy on the projection side. Now, former USC quarterback, as mentioned, transferred to Georgia, finally earned the job later in the season, and there are some playmakers around him that maybe this is the year that Georgia finally takes a step forward as a key offensive quarterbacking perspective there. He did show some promise. I like touchdown interception ratio. I do still need to see more out of JT Daniels. There has been plenty of hype around him over the past couple of seasons, dating back to his time at USC when he enrolled super early and got to play. But overall for his career, it's not there yet. Now, the guy we saw at Georgia, I thought was better than what we saw for most of his time at USC. But these numbers, and we'll call it a full-ish season, are not indicative of an early round pick. But there is some untapped talent there. And fair or not, I think Slovis and Daniels, especially this year, both having started their careers at USC, are going to get compared to each other. So I want you guys to pick a quarterback for me. Type KS, Kedon Slovis, or type in JD for JT Daniels. Maybe it's neither, but at least pick one of them for me. Get your votes in right now. All right, number 8, Phil JURKOVEC, the quarterback from Boston College, who's got some good size, decent enough arm. I think his motion is a little wonky, and I need to see more accuracy. But this, again, is more of a projection guy. He's got the size. NFL teams have shown time and time again they just love to get listed at 6'5", 226. Far cry from the next guy we'll get to here in just a second. I want to see better accuracy. It is more of a pro-style offense for Boston College. Did a good job of not turning the ball over all that much. I'm not convinced that JURKOVEC, though, is going to be a high-drafted guy. Of course, I hope he proves me wrong and balls out this year for BC. So let me know in the comments then, as we get to just outside the top 8 here, the top sleeper quarterback prospect. Who do you think it is? Is it Phil JURKOVEC? Is it someone we have not yet gotten to? Because I got some names we're about to get to here that I think certainly check that off. So get your votes in for me. The top sleeper quarterback prospect for the 2022 NFL Draft. All right, number 9, JAYDEN Daniels, who I got concerns about his size. Now, he has said he's bulked up to 200 pounds, and that's a big deal. because that guy is listed, by the way, at a very meager overall 175 pounds. So in general, you want to see Daniels get a little bit bigger there. Now, his production in 2020 was not great because, A, Arizona State did not play that many games. Now, sub 60% completion percentage, major red flag for me. But he's a dual threat. He's got some arm strength, got some arm talent. So from that perspective, I like it. I just need to see a better pass out of Daniels. Definitely a sleeper name to keep an eye out for this season. If you guys want more NFL videos, both on the NFL draft, trades, free agency, rumors, and everything else in between, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything here at Chat Sports. After all, we've got videos coming out multiple times a day here at Chat Sports. To number 10, a name that I like Mel Kiper with. Now, this is pretty much all projection because we have not seen a lot out of Emory Jones. But he takes over the starting quarterback job from Kyle Trask, and he was used at times at Florida as I'll call it the change of pace quarterback. He's a better fit for the typical Dan Mullen offense, which features a lot more quarterback runs. Now, as a passer, Emory Jones does need growth. And again, it was kind of a weird sample size. You can't count too much there, but sub 57%, limited role, weird role, almost, again, that change of pace quarterback there. But I think Jones' athletic talents are better than what we saw out of Kyle Trask. And I would not be surprised if the Florida offense, at least quarterback-wise, even takes a step forward. They lose so much skill players that it makes life tougher. But he can run. I like watching Emory Jones. I think he's a fun quarterback to watch. It is all projection as it relates to his NFL draft status. But if Jones can show growth as a passer, there is talent for him. So I like putting him on here as a speculative, let's just keep an eye out for him in 2022. Now, those are the top 10 for Mel Kiper. I'm going to get to some more names here in a second. Before we get to those names, though, I want you guys to let me know who Mel Kiper disrespected. Get your votes in. Be the hater in the comments section. He did leave off Tyler Shuck out of Texas Tech, former Oregon quarterback, which I agree with because he was not going to win the job at Oregon. The round one buzz for him, frankly, I don't really get. Now, Matt Corral is the ultimate boomer bust quarterback. Just go look at his stat sheet, right? Awesome games and garbage games. But he is a blast to watch. I want to believe in Matt Corral. He's so much fun. Brock Purdy doesn't have the arm strength. Good college quarterback. I doubt he makes it in the NFL. Now, earlier in this video, I teased the top 5 quarterback that Kiper had on this list last year. He left off Tanner Morgan altogether this year. This time last year, Kiper had Morgan as a top 5 quarterback. He was not great this year, and I think he's right to put him outside his top 10. Dylan Gabriel is fun, a bit undersized. I maybe would have put him just outside the top 10 there. Michael Penix, the lefty from Indiana, coming off an injury. We'll see about him. And I did want to mention De'Aaron King, awesome college player. I don't know if he's going to make it, though, as a quarterback in the NFL.